My name's Dave Thornett. I'm Business Development Manager at Key Fund. We're a finance house for social enterprise, social business, and I've come to talk about Social Incubator North, which is part of the same Cabinet Office programme as Margaret's just discussed. And, oh, that works, doesn't it? So, we are also a parallel business support and investment programme. We're operating roughly from Coventry up to the Scottish borders, and we have key partners in Key Fund, Locality. You probably know Locality used to be DTA, and Social Enterprise Yorkshire and Humber, East Midlands, North West, and the North East Social Enterprise Partnership. So we've come together, brought some of our own money and matched it against Cabinet Office money to provide an incubator programme in the north of England. And we're doing that on the basis that the economy here is slightly different to the economy down south, where the other three first-round incubators were. And I'm glad to see that we've actually got a bit more happening outside of the southeast now. So what we're trying to do is support 200 clients and fully invest in 50. Fully invest in our terms is up to £25,000, but we also have a range of other investment available around the programme up to about 300k. So it's a staged process, so we were looking to draw in around 200 businesses through expressions of interest into the programme. We've found about 500. Which has been a challenge in itself in how we deal with not being able to support everyone as fully as we would like to do. So a huge demand, and we're thinking about what we do next on that. We have a range of support that is partly online and partly face-to-face, so every business coming through the programme gets assigned an individual supporter and has a relationship with them, and they're part advisor and part guide through the process. And we also have a range of specialist support, whether that's legal, whether that's financial, whether that's thematic, that's available to each of the businesses we're working with. I talked about that. So I've drawn stolen some artwork from the internet just to try to describe the bit of a difference between social enterprise and social business, I suppose, and the approach that we're taking to it. So if you think of it as a continuum with the angelic trading charities on the left and the evil capitalist despot on the right, who's looking very friendly, I have to say. We're trying to get the middle of that business spectrum, so not charitable, it has to be trading, but not necessarily just social enterprise. So if you're a private entrepreneur who describes both social impact and financial outturn in your business plan, we will talk to you and see whether you fit within the programme, because what we're interested in is attaching social impact into economic models, not simply working with social organisations. So socialising business, if you like. I want to give you a few examples of ones that have come through the programme so far, slightly diverse. So I really like this, Laughing Matters. So working, I guess, on the principle that laughter's the best medicine, perhaps not in all circumstances, but certainly a good one. So the idea was to look at how laughter develops confidence, develops social skills, and using stand-up techniques to develop those confidences and skills in people either who have experienced mental health problems or those coming out of rehabilitation services. Now, not an easy thing to fund, so using those core skills around comedy, what Laughing Matters have done is put on comedy events and use the surplus generated from those to put into programmes to provide free services to people. Had a range of really big name stars who've initially put some time in for free, which has helped get the model off the ground. But moving forward, they're going to be purely commercial comedy events, surplus from which generates the possibility to go and provide services in an area where perhaps there isn't funding to work. Another one, this took us a while to get our head around. We haven't had many approaches from businesses looking at funerary monuments. Apparently a growing market on the continent, but fairly new here. So the guy behind Greener Memorials was actually serving a public service order and picking up litter in a cemetery, and was quite surprised by the amount of litter that there was in the cemetery, and thought there must be a way of reducing this, and put the two things together, as you would do, and came up with an idea of diverting waste plastics and creating cheap, I ought to say, but really good quality funerary ornamentation. Not a phrase I thought I'd be saying at the beginning of the year. And he's developing quite a lot of really good relationships with the City Council, looking at an offer to the people of Liverpool, and John Moores University's Carbon Innovation Hub in terms of the more environmental side of the business. And he's developing both a UK and slowly an international market. Completely different. As I'm sure you're all aware, there's a bit of a gap in paediatric orthopaedic services in the Leeds area. Something we're all familiar with, I'm sure. One of the surgeons who worked in that environment was getting quite frustrated by the fact there was a huge demand but a lack of capacity in the system to deal with that. So brought together a team of surgeons, physiotherapists, other health professionals to actually set up a social enterprise to provide those services. And people are partly giving their time for free as professionals and partly charging back into the system to introduce that capacity. Some of the money that's generated is going into providing physiotherapy sessions, providing advice and support to families, and filling a real gap in that market. What we want to try to do with some of these models is replicate them in other areas. So the orthopaedic business is one that is going to be reproduced in other areas rather than this particular business rolling out. But things like Laughing Matters and greener memorials are ones that we want to develop into national business.